It happened on a dark night just after Thanksgiving. The trees on the Christmas tree farm were shaken awake by a wind and a light. And there, shining through all of them, was the Christmas tree angel. I have come to tell you that Christmas will soon be here. Many of you will be chosen to leave the forest and go to the city. Here you have seen only the people who have cared for you and helped you grow. In the city, you will see many people. They will come and look at you and walk round and round you to see how shapely you are, and most of all, how fragrant you are. Your fragrance will remind them of all the wonders of Christmas they knew when they were children. They will take you to their homes and give you a place of great honor there, hanging ornaments on you and laying gifts at your feet. The more they look at you, the more joy they will feel, and they will reach out, wanting to give more and more to each other, because you will have made them so glad. Make ready now to leave the forest and go into the city, for you have been prepared for this special time. The trees heard these words, and they trembled, for her message awakened a secret knowledge which had been sleeping in them all the time. A few days later, the man and the woman who cared for them came and began to cut them down. This frightened them very much. But they found that as the couple approached with their axe, the angel was suddenly there again, and it hardly hurt at all. In fact, they saw and felt her light come into them, and they were filled with just the kind of joy she said they would bring to the people in the city. The couple were almost finished when they stopped before a little fir tree, which had obviously had quite a struggle growing. Her branches still were not strong and sturdy. In fact, she was quite straggly, and they thought they'd better keep her in the forest. But something about her made them stop and look at her again. Ever since the night the Christmas tree angel came, she had waited for the wonderful moment to go to the city. Now her desire to go was so great that it somehow reached the couple. Almost against their good judgment, they cut her down and added her to the load of trees going to the city. When the trees reached their destination, they were taken to the lot where Christmas trees are sold. And now the people began to come and walk round and round, looking at the trees from every viewpoint, until they found the very one they wanted. The little fir stood with the others, day after day, but the people just glanced at her and walked away. One by one, the other trees were carried off, and Christmas came nearer and nearer. The little fir was brave at first, but she couldn't help beginning to wonder. Had she made a mistake to think that the angel's message was meant for her, too? Her branches drooped as she questioned herself, and of course, this made her look more straggly than ever. And so it happened that Christmas Eve came, and all the other trees had been taken off to the places of honor in people's homes. The little fir was all alone. She felt so miserable, and it only made things worse when she heard the man who owned the lot say, "I can't afford to lose money on this tree, so the day after Christmas, I'll have to send it back to the Christmas tree farm. They said they'd give me my money back if there were any trees I couldn't sell. I wonder what made them bring this one in the first place." Now they'll just have to burn it. Poor little fir tree. Not only had nobody wanted her, but now she would have to go back to the forest where everybody could see that she hadn't been wanted, and she would be burned. How could she have been so mistaken? Why had she loved the angel so much when she saw her? Why had she been so thrilled with her message? And why was she so sure it was for her? Oh, what had she done to be brought to this miserable end? She called out to the Christmas tree angel, but no voice answered. How could she have broken her promise? The pain drew round her like a curtain. She didn't even hear the woman walk into the lot just as the man was closing it. She might not even have heard her speak, but there was a pleading in the woman's voice, so like the pleading inside herself, that she stopped and listened. "You haven't sold this little tree," the woman was saying. "Could you just give it to me? My husband is sick and my children want a Christmas tree so much. They can't understand that this year we haven't the money to buy one. Please, please let me have this little tree. It's straggly, but I can make it beautiful, and my children will have a Christmas like everyone else." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I need the money too. So I'm sending this tree back the day after Christmas for a refund." The woman began to weep. "How can I ever make my children understand? What will happen when they see all the other children have Christmas trees in their houses and they don't? What a sad Christmas it would be without even a little tree." As she stood there, a courage filled the woman's heart. Suddenly, an idea came to her. "Let me take the tree home tonight, and I promise to bring it back first thing in the morning after Christmas." The man thought a few moments. "Why don't you go ahead and take this tree and have a good Christmas? But be sure to bring it back early the day after." How happy the little fir was. She was going to a home after all, and she was going to bring that home a special joy, just as the angel had said. She thanked the angel now with all her heart, and the woman, as if she heard, began to sing as she carried the little tree under her arm. The little fir began to sing inside herself, too, and the singing made her fragrance grow, so that by the time they reached the house, her fragrance filled every nook and cranny. How happy the father was, too. He was still very weak, but he propped himself up and even hummed a little as his wife brought out all the treasured decorations from Christmases before. Together they sang and hummed as they worked, putting the beloved ornaments in the empty, uneven spaces. To finish, they hung gleaming icicles on her. And then, oh best, they crowned her with a radiant star. How the heart of the little fir glowed, and the hearts of the mother and father glowed, so that it seemed as if the little house must have been alight for all the world to see. In the morning, the children woke early, and their eyes grew large with wonder and excitement as they saw the tree. They danced round and round, so filled with joy that they ran out and called all the children who lived in their street to come and see. Their mothers and fathers and friends came too, bringing gifts and food, and the love that everyone felt for everyone spread and spread. When that wonderfully full day came to an end, the little tree was supremely happy. The children went to bed in a bliss of dreams. Now the mother and the father, who was feeling ever so much better, came and very gently, very carefully, took the ornaments off the tree, making sure they didn't hurt it in any way. In the morning, almost before it was light, they carried the little tree back, and the happiness it had given them was still in their eyes as they thanked the man. Soon the truck came, and the little fir was laid alongside the other trees who had been picked up from lots around the city. The thought of being returned, unwanted, filled them with sadness. and some were angry too. What happened to the Christmas tree angel and all those wonderful promises if we came to the city? Now we're going back to the forest where all the other trees will know that nobody wanted us. And what's worse, we're going to be burned up. The little fern knew their disappointment and fear were more than they could bear. She wanted to tell them what had happened to her. But when they were in such a state, how could she tell them that she had been loved and honored and even crowned with a radiant star? No, she couldn't tell them this now. So inside herself, she called out to the Christmas tree angel and thanked her again for the miracle she had experienced. And she asked the angel to help these trees who were so forlorn. Then she became very quiet indeed, and let herself feel again the love and sharing that had spread to all the people on the street. And it began to glow in her, and the glow began to spread so that it touched all the trees beside her. They grew silent and nestled close to each other, remembering again the light which had shone through them all when the angel had first come. By the time they reached the forest, they were filled with such peace that they didn't even feel ashamed to let the others see that they had come back. They were carried past all the trees, and when they reached the youngest trees, now they could say, "Wait until the Christmas tree angel comes for you. Then you will understand." Night came on the mountain, and they were carried to the place of burning. As the man came toward them with a torch, the trees cried out, "Why, there's nothing to be afraid of at all." At this came a stirring above them. There was the Christmas tree angel. She gathered them into her arms. "Let us make such a light, my children, that everyone will feel our joy. With this, they blazed up in such a swirling, dancing burst of light that the forest fairly sang with it. On clear, starry nights, if you listen, you can hear the echo of their song.